Bump. So good to be here with you in your toy garage.
Lots of toys around. That's right.
Yeah, it's a good life. Yeah, we're pretty excited to have put this Lightship in your hands a few days ago. And I guess our thought here is I'd love to have a conversation with you about all of the different changes that we've made from the prototype vehicles that we've been showing over the past few years to now one of these early production units that you have taken delivery of.
The wheel enclosures are different than the first prototype. You've redesigned
This wheel cover you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see.
It hung down previously, as I recall.
You're right. I think it was a bit lower on the wheels.
Yep.
The whole ride height was much lower in the early days as well, and so we've pulled up the ride height to about a foot of clearance, which is why you're seeing more of the wheel and tire exposed as well.
Yeah.
We recently, somewhat recently, went to a 10-ply tire as well. This is in part because of conversation that you and I had.
We did have a few
the years.
conversations about that. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I recall encouraged us to build in a little more safety factor into the tire loading. So what the tires are rated to take versus the gross vehicle weight rating, and so now we have the healthy
Trailer
headroom.
tires live a very tough life, and if they don't survive, they give a lot of problems to the rest of the vehicle. So that's very important, and also to have 4 tires on the ground versus 2.
Yep.
Big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so now it's doubly redundant, or it's more redundant even than it was when we talked about it a year ago, because we've built some headroom into the tire loading. So the tire loading limit is now significantly higher than the gross vehicle weight rating, and as you said, because it's a tandem axle trailer, you can if you happen to lose a tire to some accident or issue, then you've still got a separate axle.
In an emergency situation, do you think it's feasible to remove the offending tire, put more pressure in the 3 remaining, and go slowly to help?
That is what I would do. Yeah. Yep. Some people will opt to carry a spare with them as well, and we've in some testing conditions put a full-sized spare into the garage up front there. Takes up a fair amount of space, but there's some trips where
it's weight too.
Yep. Yeah, and it's weight too. Yep. There's some trips where you'll want that, others where it may not be necessary.
Yeah.
But just to limp to safety, yeah, I think you could do what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can also, you can access the tires and do a swap if you had to from the road as well. You just pop off the fairing right here, and that gives you full access to the tires. If you
So
just need to.
when fully loaded and level, does one axle take more weight than the other?
No, I think they're pretty evenly weight balanced between the two.
Okay.
Maybe plus or minus 10%. But we tried to spread the load out evenly. Interestingly, the suspension arms on the two are slightly different because one of them is a driven axle and the other is a standard passive trailer axle. But I think that we've done the math between the torsion arm lengths and the angle at which, or the preload on each, to try to level out the load pretty well between the two.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Let's see. We can keep walking around.
The enclosure for the lifts are different now. You've got much more airworthy in terms of rain and whatnot getting in there.
Yeah, that's a great point. We had a soft fabric seal, kind of a rubberized fabric, but it still allowed some blow by. So
there's that rolls up at the bottom or the top, or
it works basically like a tape measure.
Yeah.
So it's a metallic strip with a little bit of curve in it, and it's tensioned on the roll on the bottom. So as the canopy comes down to go into road mode, the tape measure seal is just rolling up again.
Right.
Nice that it's metal too. It makes it more more resilient to small strikes. And as you can see, for the blow by concern for water and dust, we've now got rubber seals that come right up against the metal and brush lightly against it, so it's pretty hard to get dust past it. Our earlier prototypes had had a pair of stabilizer jacks, but no levelers at the rear. We've now gone to a 5-point leveling system where...
So the 5 points are 4 on the chassis and the lift?
And the tongue
hitch
jack.
lift tongue jack?
Exactly. Yeah, tongue jack, 2 leveling feet at the rear, 1 on either side, and then a pair of stabilizer jacks that come down on the front to prevent any bounce.
That's all new. That wasn't on the prototypes, right?
Yep, that's right. Yeah, this is the first time that we've introduced the full leveling system. You won't see this, but we made a lot of improvements to the vent system that lives behind here. You can imagine.
Well, I didn't know about it. There's more venting. There's venting
so-
up there.
So do you see these 2 screens right here, the outermost screens? The left one is goes to a vent tube that goes down to the gray tank, and the right one goes to a vent tube that goes to the black tank.
Okay. But this particular vent system up here also vents under the solar panels in the rear too, right?
Yeah, so the 2 outermost channels run to the tank vents, and if you feel inside here, you'll feel that there's a little corrugated hose that basically folds in half when the top comes down, and then the two larger vents right there are for the exhaust fans. One is for the bathroom exhaust fan, the other is for the kitchen exhaust fan. And the channel that's created there is created by the shape of the roof of the body, and then capped off with the solar panel. Nice thing you get, given where they're positioned, is that rain is not going to go down into the vent because it's under the overhang of the tail of the body.
That's a good point, because these in the typical towables, they pop up, and if you forget to pop them down before the rain, you get a little bit of rain inside the vehicle from the vent system in the roof.
Yep. Yeah. In this case, it'll all be protected from the runoff. Yep. Inside of this bumper, we also have an attenuating foam now, like a crash foam as well, which didn't show up in the prototypes. Here's a good change to highlight. You probably noticed this. So we did a lot of repackaging of the black and gray tank dumps onto the production vehicle. To call out a few things. So one is part of the repackaging was to accommodate the leveling foot on this side, because we needed to
that wasn't there before.
Squeeze it in there.
Yeah.
We also meaning hand access to the black and gray dump.
Yeah, that was all the way back in before, wasn't it?
That's right. These used to be really far inset, so you'd have to reach way back in there, and so we brought them out right almost proud to the body for easy access. We went back to a somewhat more traditional setup that allowed us to get more angle on the dump pipe here, and package a separate dump hose right up into a cassette up top there. So this is at this point it's a tried and true.
So there's a hose in there. It's behind that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The expandable hose, the Rhino hose, just stays up above there.
I hadn't even opened that door yet, so I didn't see it.
Yep. Yeah, this is this from our testing the prototypes and now to the production version, the drainage has improved significantly, which is nice. We also repackaged where the black tank spray out goes. So this is your hose inlet to spray out the black tank if you're just getting back from a long trip. We've also made innumerable improvements to all of the access doors. There were just a bunch of issues with small interferences, for instance, between the doors and the body, or issues clasping, where the door wouldn't hold itself very cleanly. This is one of those redesigned access doors with new clasps on it. As you can see now, it stays pretty sturdy. You may recall that on our prototype, the garage door was about the same size, but then there was a separate access door for your water fill, your city water and your freshwater tank fill. Yeah. We've now gotten rid of that door altogether and inset the water fill sites directly into the body. they're inset so that there's no collision between them and the canopy as it comes down, and it's just simplified the whole setup.
Most RVs have a door over there. Some of them have it locked, but because of the conflict, you've recessed it here. In motion, when you're towing it, it's all secured behind the lowered canopy.
True.
It's only exposed
When you're in the camp
when you're
mode.
back in the camp mode and have a hose hooked up to it,
Yep.
which is what most other systems are exposed anyway, because you got to hook up to get through the door.
That's true.
So the door is really the canopy in this case to protect the water system from somebody tampering in transit or in storage.
It does provide some extra security. The same could be said for really all of the doors, all the
Right.
access hatches, that when the vehicle's down in its road mode, which it may stay in when you're storing it as well, it's really hard to access anything you wouldn't want to be accessed.
Right.
Small things like this is more of a serviceability issue, but we added some access panels on the outside of the canopy here to access the actuators from the rear. So you can now access the connection point between the canopy and the tub via the outside. This would not be.
But the motor's at the bottom.
Yeah, the motor's at the bottom. The connection point is under here. So if one of our service technicians needed to get at it, we've made huge improvements. I hope you noticed to the doors themselves, the garage doors. We went from a single layer of fiberglass. The door was a little too
that's right. I
too
remember
floppy
that. Yeah.
to now we've added a lot of section and stiffness to the door. We've significantly improved the sealing around the door as well, and the handle here that allows you to the closure is far improved.
It also
as well.
improves the insulation. That's a thick door, so it's
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you've probably got inch and a half of
Right.
of insulation. We also, you may recall that on the original baggage door we had a pair of small hinges, and we've gone to a big extended piano hinge as well. So you get a more sturdy feel.
Yep.
Good.
Our owner modification already. I removed the door because we were
Yeah,
doing
good.
some experimenting here. But
Nice.
there is a door. I have it.
Yeah, I saw it hanging somewhere over there. I'm glad you're already getting into it. We changed the outlet. This 240 volt outlet, you can see it's a separate EV rated outlet now. What that really means is that this outlet is robust to carrying kind of full load in a continuous manner. So you could run 35-40 amps continuously off of this and over many plug and unplug cycles, and know that it's going to be durable over time. Another change that you talked a bit about, Bob, was we've changed some of the open and close mechanism here, or the latch on the Aero
Yeah, the
Hub door.
prototype was all open underneath.
That's right, and
you could
yeah,
actually look down into the.
Twofold. So we have an improved latch here, and we've now covered off the opening here so that it's a cleaner appearance. And then we've also moved the leveling system and tongue jack controls from down kind of buried inside of the Aero Hub up to the user. Every Cosmos owner gets a weight distribution hitch included in their package, and this weight distribution hitch is the style that we have built TrekDrive to be compatible with. So we've validated the TrekDrive trailer propulsion system to be compatible with this style of weight distribution hitch, so that it doesn't influence the performance of the TrekDrive system. Hopefully you've noticed immeasurable improvements to the door. It's
Yes.
it feels so much more solid than it did on the prototypes. We've made a lot of improvements to the way that it seals to the body as well. Small changes like adding a real knob to grab onto as you're locking and unlocking it. We added a little lip right here to act as a grab handle, so that people who need extra support as they're walking up and down the stairs have a grab point to get that support.
I can't remember, but I think the ceiling a little different. terms of the,
Yeah, we did modify and improve the headliner quite a bit. We've actually been through a few iterations on this headliner. We've done things around the material that covers it, the backing board material. We broke up the headliner in a different way so it's more manufacturable, more it's
and
built
those
in
are
more
all
pieces.
held up by magnets, right?
That's right.
You could just pop it off
Yeah,
and it comes.
they pull right down.
And underneath all of that is a lot of CAN bus wiring and.
All sorts of wiring, solar, lights, communications,
But
like
for
you said.
serviceability, it's just, 4 points around most of them, and they come down and.
A few more. One of the things that we've iterated a lot on is getting the right amount of support for those headliner pieces so that they don't sag at all.
Yeah.
We're actually using a partially recycled board material as well, so there's a nice second life story. The blinds and the bug screens have improved quite a bit here too. Do you want to open the window on that side? Yeah, you spin that around and push it open. The packaging has gotten a lot better here. So now here's your blind. Your bug screen now rides in channels as well. So you remember we had some sealing issues at the outer edges on the prototypes. Now we fully seal in, stop any bugs from coming through there.
Yep.
Which should be a nice improvement.
You could do half and half, I suppose, huh?
Yep.
Does it stop? Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop.
If you wanted to,
Yeah,
you can
okay.
keep just a crack.
Yep.
The opener for the window, which within Lightship at least we affectionately call the pirate hook, gets it now has a storage spot. It has a place to stay for transit. This is new, and we improved the position of the grab hook on the window as well, and built in this little rubber seal right here so that when the bug screen is down, you still have a sealing layer there, but the seal allows the hook to pass through it. So you can see I grab the window there, and it passes right through, and then I can cinch it closed. So that's all new. Really, all the wiring across the vehicle has improved significantly from the prototype. We're now, operating with real wire harnesses, all loomed in, built at an out-of-house supplier, so built by a professional wire harness builder. It's the fit and finish and quality of the harnessing has improved quite a bit, which is great. The doors here as well, if you look at the treatment of this zone, the doors, we've made a bunch of small changes to them. We used to have hard edges on the corners here, which was could have been a scratch hazard, especially for little kids who are walking around at this height. We've kind of radiused off all of the sharp edges in all the doors and in this zone of the counter as well. You may or may not recall that we had a pretty sharp edge and no overhang of the counter on the prototypes. We've now built this overhang in with a nice soft radius, so there's no more bump hazard there. The hinges and the clasps have improved quite a bit on the doors here too. We didn't really have any positive retention of the doors on the prototypes, so they could move around a little bit, and the hinges were pretty overbuilt, and you'd occasionally have just little interferences between the doors and the cabinet surround. Now we've got a pair of magnet closures here, and the hinges have gotten lower profile. So all that's an improvement. A couple generations back, we also didn't have any of this book storage or book or slipper storage there, and now we found a little extra space in the wheel well, so you could put like I say, books or maybe slides in there. Have you tried opening up the bed yet?
No.
You want me to show you?
Go for it.
All right. Sometimes you have to reach down here and fish out the loop, but this, I think, this bed is one of the real success stories going from prototype to the production version.
Yeah, remember I camped in the prototype, so I'm eager to see what this feels like.
Yeah, it's a big improvement. I think in engineering terms, we pulled I don't many thousands of dollars of cost, something like 20 pounds of weight out of it. Maybe actually, I think it was even more. I think it was almost 20 kilos, so almost 40 pounds of weight out of it. The changes that we made there, as you can see, we don't have those big metal rotisseries, the hinges anymore. The hinge is now a fabric hinge that runs across the mattress. That's what's made the mattress itself so much lighter. So the steps that you go through now are, there's a foot right under here that you pull out and you swing.
That's new, right?
Swing down. This is all new.
Right.
We used to have the foot up built into the mattress. It was very complicated and it added weight to the mattress.
I remember that, yep.
So now we've gone with the separate fuller width support for the bed. And for the mattress, I can basically do it with a single finger now because it's gotten so much lighter. And we've gone to a much improved foam mattress as well.
Yeah, much better.
How have we done? Better?
Yeah. We had a big bar across there before.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You would feel there was a crease, basically, a crease through the center of it.
I remember.
Yeah, now you don't feel the crease anymore, and it's a legitimate foam mattress.
Yeah.
Still in that nice shape.
Somehow it looks bigger. Maybe I'm wrong. Did you get any width more out of it?
I don't think we got any more width. It is a little longer. It's a little longer because we brought it.
Maybe it just looks bigger than it unfolded than I recall in the prototype.
It's even bigger than a queen. A queen is up to about here,
Right.
just to the edge of the mattress, but you get some more width out of the diamond shape
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a big improvement.
Yeah.
Now there's a separation between the mattress and the cushion underneath as well, so you can fit your fitted sheet all the way around.
Right.
It's far improved.
Yeah. And that's a custom fitted sheet for this bed, obviously, right?
You can get a queen fitted sheet to fit on it, but the best fitting sheets are a pair of we're making custom fitted sheets and a custom duvet for it, which will be branded to the Lightship livery.
And I get that free in the Cosmos.
That's true. Oh, here's another nice improvement, which most people won't notice. Do you mind if I go up onto it?
No.
Look at this. All under here, we've added this big tray. So we used to have a nightstand that was built into the seat back here.
I remember that.
There were lots of issues manufacturing wise with it. We've now gone to this full wraparound tray. We also have a pair of USBs.
Well, okay, good. So you can put your phone in that little cubby down there.
You can put. There's actually it's not easy to see, but there's quite a bit of storage under here because it wraps all the way around. This is full.
So the tray goes all
The tray is continuous.
Okay.
So you have a continuous tray this whole way around. This helped us seal off the air from between the garage and the cabin here.
Right.
It also helped seal off the HVAC ducting, which you remember is in the seat back.
Right.
And yeah, like I say, we got USBs on either side. So I think
So
this
for
is far
people not
improved.
familiar, when you're sleeping, HVAC is flowing on a perimeter all the way around your head, up and over.
Yes.
Not coming out of a big hole in the ceiling and blowing on you.
Yes. Right.
It's coming off to the side softly and filling this area.
Yeah, it comes in a curtain and then slowly circulates around you.
That's a big deal for anybody experiencing a towable RV with those overhead noisy units. When they are performing well, you're getting quite a bath of cold air down on, right on you.
Right.
So this is a big difference.
And you saw how easy that was to fold back up.
Yep.
That's far improved. All the cushions are nicer as well. You can see the upholstery is just better. Hopefully you felt it as well.
Yep.
We've gone to a more tailored cushion density. The table, you've probably noticed, is a big improvement. So now, instead of just a single pedestal leg in the center, we've gone to a pair of telescoping legs.
I didn't notice that. Okay, I forgot it. Yep.
Did you feel how sturdy it's gotten too?
Yeah, and anybody with a typical towable will know about that.
Yeah.
That it's more like sitting with a jelly table than it is with this thing. This thing's stout.
Yep. And now the table is powered as well. The legs are powered, so you can drive them down with a toggle switch, like I'm showing.
So how do you convert this into another place to sleep? What?
So you come here. Once you've dropped the table all the way down, there is
Okay,
an
I
extra
haven't even
mattress
opened that
right under
yet.
here.
All right.
Yeah. So this fully covers this, and the table we also have a safety interlock on. So if you had, mostly for kids, if you were at all
Okay,
concerned
that's
about
what that's for. I saw that key there.
Yep.
That's just for the table?
Yeah, just key on off for the table. So this would be if you had young kids and you were worried about a pinch hazard with them, then you could turn off the cable.
Okay.
Turn off the table. Yeah, let's see. All the drawers.
Those knobs are lighting over here. We got lighting here.
Yeah, that's right. One of them is
got-
for the task lights here, and the other one is for the fan.
And I see we have 2 more USB-C connections here and,
Yep.
a 110 plug as well. Any other
That's right.
USB-Cs around that we haven't discovered?
Well, you've got the two in the bed, one under here, one or a pair here, and I think that's it. This is new as well. We do have a new pop up.
That's just 110?
Yes, this is just 110. Although it also has a wireless charging dock on it. So if you put your phone on top of it, that'll wirelessly
that's
charge.
new.
This is nice. So we now have a resting zone in here. We needed an access hatch to be able to access some of the HVAC and wiring components under here. So this was a serviceability concern, but the nice thing is that we turned it into a tray as well, so you can put small items in there up on the backsplash. We've made some nice improvements to the magazine storage area here as well. There's better side access. It's a little bit deeper than it was. We've cleaned up the breaker box zone here as well. All of your AC circuit breakers are in here. All the 12 volt fusing is up in the Aero hub. This time, of course, you want to have access to a breaker because sometimes you blow your circuit and need ready access to it.
Right.
Nice improvement to the cooktop. This is a different cooktop than we had on our prototype, and pretty happy with it. It's improved in a lot of ways. The controls we're happier with. It also has a bridge function, so you can sync the 2 burners together to use it with a griddle top if you wanted to cook up an egg breakfast. So just a better induction cooktop. Otherwise, these drawers are about the same, although all the slides are improved as well. You probably noticed this, that there's just a lot less. They feel more sturdy. They feel more sturdy, and they kind of suck themselves in better. The door here, the trash door, used to swing to the right. We found that it was better for it to swing to the left because you want to stay within the kitchen zone if you're accessing the trash. The faucet here, we went to not only a slightly taller faucet that still packages inside of the canopy even when it's down. That same faucet now has a pull out, so you can pull the nozzle down. Before it was just a bar faucet that didn't have the pull down on it. Let's see, in the bathroom, we went to an improved water saving shower head. This is different than what we used in the prototype. Pretty happy with it. It's a company formerly known as Nebbia, now Brondell. They do a really nice, nicely designed water saving shower heads that still make you feel like you're having a kind of a luxurious shower experience. It doesn't feel like a trickle on your head. The holder for it is a little better as well. You can see there's a rubberized insert on the holder, so now the holder really retains the head pretty well, even when you're bouncing around on the road. All of the doors across the interior have a common open-close mechanism as well. We had a mixture of pushes and pulls on the prototype. We've gone to this single kind of simpler hinges and the magnets. We've gone through a few iterations of the best way to hold this dishwasher closed when you're in transit, and what we've gotten to is a little button here, an unlock button that you push in and then pull open, and you can see there's a detent right here that it clasps to. If you want to sit, we can walk through the Atlas as well. The climate control. This, I think I hope you heard it. We've quieted it down quite a bit. Have you run it yet?
We haven't turned it on
Oh,
since
great.
arrived here. You can turn it on.
Great.
So The fan is spinning up right now.
That's your blower. Yeah, blower fan is spinning up.
Yeah, I can feel it. So I'm sitting here and the air came up and it came around the top. I can feel it coming in on my head.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's coming down from here.
Yeah.
And now it's it's dialing back, so it starts up louder and then it's throttling down right now. Right?
Yeah, and we've actually slowed down the response time of the system a little bit. We found that the compressor in particular was overactive, so it was kind of loping around as the temperature would change in the inside. We've slowed down its response time so that basically it won't change its frequency as frequently.
So you've got a set point of 70 right now. What did it say the end? What?
Right now it measures an interior temperature
of 75. It's trying to catch up for 5 degrees.
Yep.
Because what I'm listening for is...
For it to quiet down.
Not the fan, but the
compressor.
I don't feel anything.
We also mounted the compressor on vibration damping bushings now, which has helped a lot with noise and vibration. Okay. Now you hear it coming up a little bit. It's still pretty faint.
Yeah, I've got my hearing aids in and dialed up pretty well, but the fan clearly, I don't have any sense right now of
the fan is the bulk of the noise, and it once it hits its set point, it'll quiet down.
It's coming, yeah.
You maybe feel a little bit of vibration now in the floor. It's very faint. This thing
not like it was in the prototype camping that
it used to be a jet engine.
Because in some other brand, this is a major issue right now.
Oh, really?
With this kind of heat pump system, that they didn't go to all the care of the...
We've talked about this in the past, Bob. I think a huge advantage that we have is that so much of the engineering work we do in-house at Lightship. So we really control how the product is engineered down to a very deep level, which allows us to make deep changes to its behavior.
Yeah. Well, I think this will be received well.
Now you can really feel it cooling down as well in here.
It's really... We got the door still open, so it's going to keep trying to hit the set point. But
the reason we changed the behavior, we've iterated a few times on the behavior of the HVAC system. It started out pretty loud and pretty overreactive as well, where the compressor would change its frequency quite a bit. We have isolated the compressor quite a bit more, and we've changed the controls for the production version such that the compressor gets to a certain speed and then kind of stays there, so it settles and stays for a while. So much of what we've noticed is that when these systems can be annoying is when they're changing frequency all the time, because our brains are very attuned to changes in frequency or changes in noise. And so when we slow down its response time as we have, it kind of becomes white noise and it fades into the background a lot more. Water tanks, about the same. Now we actually, this was sort of a dummy value on our prototypes. Now we actually measure what the temperature is, so you'll get to see.
We didn't talk about that, but it's a electric fired hot water heater. Correct?
That's right. Yeah, it's a 10 gallon, 120 volt electric water heater.
And of the 10, how much of that's really usable? Because a lot of them have
I believe it's all 10.
All 10, okay.
Yeah.
So we're really carrying around 60 gallons.
Yeah, right.
Of water, not 50.
Yeah, 50 in the fresh tank plus another 10 in the hot water heater.
Right.
The hot water heater has we have a whole winterizing sequence, as you probably saw in the manual, and there's a drain valve through the floor now for the hot water heater if you needed to get in there and drain it out for the winter.
Yeah.
We've done a bunch of nice improvements to the leveling screen as well. We're going to over time integrate more and more of the leveling and tongue jack functions into the tablet so that it's all unified.
So right now we're 0, 0.
Yep.
So is that?
Yeah, I think for flat
what
ground.
It's measuring.
This is what it's measuring.
Okay.
Yeah. And you always get your tire pressures from your TPMS.
Right.
Your tire pressure monitoring sensors as well.
And that's, as I recall, that may be another first for a towable.
Mm-hmm. the canopy raise and lower system is far more production worthy at this point. So we have a live checklist that the owner goes through to make sure that a series of conditions are met. Mostly just the doors are closed before you lower the canopy, and each of these red dots will turn green. And when all of them turn green, it'll tell you you're ready to lower. It's got a safety lock on it now as well, so you go in and unlock it with a pin code before you drive it down.
So that's up and down, or just?
Yeah, this is for up and down.
Okay.
Anytime you go to move it, it's really a child lock feature. You go in and unlock it. Just a few details around the implementation of the TrekDrive system. So TrekDrive turns on as you go into road mode. We will confirm to you whether or not you're using a weight distribution hitch.
And the reason for that is?
And the reason for that is that the weight distribution hitch impacts the force at the hitch, and the primary way that the TrekDrive system works is to measure the force at the hitch and then decide how much to push or to use regen. And so we want to know if you're using a weight distribution hitch because we can isolate that force. Bob, it's been a really fun day. Sincerely.
My pleasure. Learned a lot.
Yeah, and incredibly excited to have you as one of our first owners. We really appreciate all the support over a few years, and I think the learning is just going to begin here. And yeah, we got your back. We'll be here.
Appreciate it.